Hello, my name is Jim McGillivray and welcome to the Pipe Box, your source for all things piping. If you find this video useful, please give it a like and please subscribe to this YouTube channel to see more videos like this. We're going to go over a tune today, and you can print the music out for this tune by going back to the description of this video on my YouTube channel. You'll see a link to a PDF there. Today I would like to do with you one of our classic competition Strathspeys. The tune is called Lady Louden and it's in 4 parts. Lady Louden is a traditional tune. It's unusual in that it was first published in Donald McPhee's book in 1876 in 4 parts. It's rare to see a 4-parted Strathspey at this point in time. Most pipers were playing 2-parted Strathspeys in competition, playing them twice through. Many of our 2-parted tunes eventually developed into 4-parted Strathspeys, but Lady Louden is unusual in that it first appears as a 4-parter. There could well be 2 parts out there under a different title that use the melody, but as far as I could see, 1876 4 parts of Lady Louden came out complete. The setting we'll be playing today is taken from Willie Ross's 4th book. As I mentioned on these videos before, Willie Ross was one of our great publishers and arrangers of pipe music, and so much of our competition repertoire came down through Willie Ross's 5 books. Okay, let's start by having a quick look at the whole score. As Strathspeys go, this is an intermediate level tune. The 3rd part borders on difficult. Today we're going to focus on pointing for the most part, though we will discuss technique as well. We're going to talk about the classic strong, weak, medium weak scansion of the Strathspey bar, but we'll also talk about strong, medium, medium, strong pointing in some bars as well. The red circles you see here are notes that we want to push out. The pink boxes are more difficult technical phrases. Before we get down to details, let's hear the whole of Lady Louden played on a Dagger electronic chanter. That was the Strathspey Lady Louden played on a Dagger electronic chanter. Let's have a look at the first part, and specifically let's look at the first 2 bars. Technically, you want to have a very good E doubling in this tune, especially in the first part. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 E doublings in the first 3 bars of this tune. I've never seen anything quite like that in a pipe tune. In terms of pointing in bar 1 and 2, you can see that I've circled beats 1 and 3. This is classic Strathspey pointing, what we've always known as strong, weak, medium, weak. You may recall in the video I did on Maggie Cameron, we talked about Strathspey pointing being strong, medium, medium, strong, and we will encounter some bars like this shortly. One thing I would like you to do with these bars is not think of them as strong, weak, medium, weak. Think of them as strong, medium, strong, medium. To my mind, there are no weak beats in strathspeys. Dotted notes we hold, and we hold them all the time. So in bars 1 and 2, beats 1 and 3. That's pretty straightforward. At the end of bar 2, the high G that is circled because we need to hold it, one of the other reasons we want to hold it is not just because it's an important beat in that bar, but because it has a B strike right after it, followed by a run. And this is technically a little bit tricky. You may wish to practice this a little bit on its own to make sure you can hit it all the time. You want to hold that high G very long before the B strike. In bar 3, I'd like to change the scansion a little bit. To me, this is a strong, medium, medium, strong bar. We're going to hold the first beat and the last beat quite long, and the middle 2 beats are well held, but they're not strong beats. Dee-lick-a-dee-da-dup, dee-ba-dick-a-dee-ba-dup. One of the other reasons we're going to hold that high G at the end of bar 3 is because it comes right before what we used to call in strathspeys triplets. It's not a triplet, it's a little 3-note run, and a cardinal rule in strathspey playing is always hold the dotted note before the 3-note runs. Dee-ba-dick-a-dee-da-dick. Diddly-dum, dee-ba-dick-a-dee-da-dup, ba-diddly-dum, ba-dee-dum, dee-ba-dick-a-dee-ba-da, diddly-dum, ba-dee-dum. Always before those 3-note runs. At the end of bar 4, we have another circled long note, another strong beat at the end of a strathspey bar. We're going to hold that high A a long time because it's the end of a phrase and it's the end of a line. So pause a little bit before you drop onto the E that begins line 2. Line 2 bar 1 is the same as line 1 bar 1. Line 2 bar 2. We start with a long low A followed by a short C with a D grace note on it. I find technically this can be difficult for some pipers. What I call a rising D grace note, in other words, a D grace note going up from low A to C, and the C is a short note. It can be hard to get the D grace note closed. It can be hard to get the D grace note without a crossing noise, and it's hard to point the low A, but you need to do all of these things. And again, the high G before the B strike at the end of the bar. In bar 3 of line 2, again, we have a strong, medium, medium, strong bar, and then the end of the part. That's the whole of the first part. Let's hear it played in the practice channel. There isn't a lot new in part 2 compared with part 1, but there are a couple of points I would like to make. Bar 1, to my mind, is a strong, medium, medium, strong bar. The last high G in bar 1 you're going to hold because it's followed by a 3-note run. The high G in bar 2 you're going to hold because it's before a B strike. So strong, medium, medium, strong, hold the high Gs. Bar 3 is also strong, medium, medium, strong, being the same as bar 1. In line 2 of part 2, if we look at bar 3, we have a grip on high A. It's one of the few grips in this tune, and all I want to say about it is you always hold the long note before a grip as long as you can. That's one of the commandments of piping. Long notes before grips and torluas get held. Musically, that's really all there is in the second part. The other thing I want to say about the second part is, again, there are lots of E doublings, and they are E doublings coming from short Fs. That is a tricky movement for a lot of pipers. I have 2 videos on E doublings. One of them is on standard E doublings and how to play them. The second one is an alternate way of playing E doublings that I find really helpful in spots just like this, where you have a very short F followed by an E doubling. I suggest you have a look at those 2 E doubling videos while you're learning this tune. It could be helpful. Okay, let's hear the second part played in the practice chanter. The third part is the most challenging part in the tune. First off, we're going to hold the first low A in bar 1 as long as we can. Right after that, we see a C doubling that goes down to a low A with an E grace note on it. If you've watched my video on Strathspey GDEs, you'll know that I don't really think of this as a C doubling going down to low A. I think of it as a Strathspey GDE. We have Strathspey GDEs on C, we have them on B. They appear all over the place in Strathspeys, and we want them to be nice and clear and separated and not crushed. That is the tendency, is to play this GDE like this. Keep it audible and rippling. Immediately after that C doubling is, again, one of these 3-note runs that we used to call a triplet. We don't call it a triplet anymore because a triplet means all 3 notes are the same length. Here, all 3 notes are not the same length. The third note is a little bit longer. The key here is to wait for the D grace note on C. Don't rush up to that C because it's got a D grace note on it. You'll have a tendency to want to do that. Wait for it and then don't crush the 3-note run. At the end of bar 2, we have our long high G before the B strike again. However, it's a little more difficult this time because right after that B strike you have to pop back up to high A, and that can be hard. Your tendency will be to come off the high G early in order to try to hit the B strike, but that will mess you up. Try to hold the high G as long as you can and then just touch the B strike and pop back up to high A. Line 2, phrase 1 is the most difficult phrase in the tune because everything we see in bar 1 happens twice. So now in line 2, bar 1 and 2, keep it measured, wait for the G grace notes all the way through it, don't crush the GDE, and don't crush the 3-note run. That phrase may take some extra practice. That's it for the third part. Let's hear it on the practice chanter. first two bars of the fourth part are classic strong, medium, strong, medium. We have long high A's and we have a long F at the end of bar 2. Point those. We also have half doublings on short C's. I don't want you to make those C's too short. I want to hear a nice, clear half doubling. Take that bar in very measured fashion and be very careful with the technique all the way through it. Bar 3 is a strong, medium, medium, strong bar that goes into a 3-note rung. We've seen that before. In line 2, bar 3, we have a little wrinkle. We have a grip from a short C. Right before that, you'll see a C half doubling. That little pattern is our G, D, E, our Strathspey G, D, E again, although it doesn't have a G grace note this time because it's coming from high A. But again, you'll hold that high A well, and you'll keep the G, D, E fairly open. It's crisp, but it's not crushed. And then a little pause before you play the short C to the grip. And that's it for part 4. Let's hear part 4 in the practice chanter. In terms of tempo, the recording I made earlier in this video was at about 117 beats per minute. Optimum tempo for competition Strathspeys is probably between 115 beats per minute and 122 or 124, which is really moving along. If Strathspeys are new to you, or if competition Strathspeys are new to you, or if Strathspeys give you a lot of technical difficulty, you don't want to play at optimum tempo. You want to play at whatever tempo allows you to play and point the tune well. You want to play it technically well at the earliest stages of learning it, or else you will just practice your mistakes. The biggest problem I see with inexperienced pipers is learning tunes too quickly. Take it nice and slow with this tune. If you have technical spots that give you difficulty, take those bars out, isolate them, work on them, and improve them. Don't just sort of pound through the whole tune and hope the hard bits get better. Isolate and conquer. That's it for Lady Louden. It's a great tune to compete with at any level. It's one of our most wonderful Strathspeys. That's it for me for this week. From me, Jim McGillivray at the Pipe Box. Good piping.